The House Speaker election continues.
Politicians on both sides are having a lot of issues.
While the chamber at Capitol Hill is still vacant, our DC bureau has more. South Florida experiences electrified fun.
Like drifting around the corners all day, which was kind of crazy.
As guests exhibit and test drive all types of electric brands. It's a spooky four-legged festivity.
It's a community event, and all the proceeds go back in to help the dogs.
How dog owners had the chance to celebrate Halloween early. And a new rugby team making epic partnerships in South Florida.
And I'm very, very excited to actually see the growth and the potential that rugby does have.
These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Anthony Cruz.
I'm Valentina Gaspari. Today is Monday, October 16th, 2023.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
Ramping up as Israel gears up for the next stages of war against Hamas. The Israeli Defense Force says that its offensive attack is ramping up in Gaza as they prepare for ground invasions taking place.
The use of rockets has increased steadily over concerns about the killing of innocent civilians as Israeli airstrikes have grown. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken brings up how democracies need to keep up international law during war instances.
The way that Israel does this matters. Needs to do it in a way that affirms the shared values that we have for human life and human dignity.
While there are still hostages in Gaza, with a few of them being Americans, the Biden administration says they are working on a rescue plan.
A plane load of Americans who were visiting Israel when war broke out are now safely back in Florida this morning. The flight with more than 200 on board landed in Tampa last night. It was chartered by the state of Florida with the help of nonprofit group Dynamo.
First big plane load, 270 people here. I think if you were watching, you saw a lot of families with young kids. So a lot of these people were in a real pinch. They had no help. They were not able to get out of Israel. And the state of Florida stepped up and answered the call.
Governor DeSantis says there will be more flights in the coming days.
Officers investigate a suspected hate crime this morning after a knife attack killed a 6-year-old boy and left his mother severely injured. It was Saturday near Chicago. Caplin News' Leon Abutarbush has the latest from the control center.
Police say 6-year-old Palestinian-American Wadi al-Fayoumi was stabbed to death 26 times by his landlord outside Chicago yesterday. Wadi's 32-year-old mother Hanan Shaheen is in the hospital with more than a dozen stab wounds on her body.
Wadi has just recently celebrated his 6th birthday. His landlord, a 71-year-old named Joseph Zuber, reportedly said, "You Muslims must die." Police say he singled them out for their faith and for the unfolding crisis in Gaza and Israel, and the dehumanization of Palestinians that has proliferated American media last week.
He loved soccer, he loved basketball, and he paid the price for the atmosphere of hate.
Take Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis, who declared that every Palestinian in Gaza is anti-Semitic.
If you look at how they behave, not all of them are Hamas, but they are all anti-Semitic. None of them believe in Israel's right to exist.
President Biden put out a statement yesterday sending his condolences and prayers for the family and saying that this act of hate against a Palestinian Muslim family has no place in America.
The mother is now still in critical condition, but she's expected to survive. The landlord was charged with first-degree murder, attempted first-degree murder, 2 hate crime counts, and aggravated murder with deadly weapon. The crime comes as a direct result of the dehumanization of Palestinians and lack of fair reporting. In the control center, I'm Leon Abutarbush reporting for Caplin News.
With the world constantly changing, the United States has been quiet about lawmakers still without a Speaker of the House. Americans tell their thoughts to Caplin News reporter Alexandra Howard, who is in Washington, D.C. this morning.
The hunt for the next Speaker of the House has made little progression, which makes Congress paralyzed to make any decisions on some of the world's most pressing issues. So far, Republicans have chosen Jim Jordan from Ohio as their nominee to secure the speakership. But from military funding to Ukraine and figuring out a new plan to avoid a government shutdown in November, the American people have been without a speaker for 13 days.
The fact that there isn't a speaker right now just comes to show that a lot of our politicians on both sides are having a lot of issues sort of keeping at least a basis level of democracy to a certain extent. It's just it seems as though it needs to be more organization in order for us to get a speaker.
I mean, I feel like they kind of have their stuff together, but not really, like, because he still hasn't been officially elected as a speaker. So, yeah, they really need to get things done. It still feels unsatisfying.
And even some lawmakers are indecisive on who should become the next speaker, including South Florida Representative Carlos Jimenez.
We know who our real leader is. It was demonstrated in there. I'm more solidly behind McCarthy now than ever. Can I get him to run? Can we get him to run? We need Kevin McCarthy back.
Congress is back in session this week, so Americans might see lawmakers vote on the House floor to confirm a speaker soon. Reporting in Washington, D.C. for Caplin News, I'm Alexandra Howard.
A local nonprofit gets together to raise awareness on adopting pups and hosting an event with hundreds of pets. It was Saturday in Pinecrest. This Halloween party is dedicated to the pups with the best costume. Caplin News reporter Daniela Thoki has more on the story.
Halloween is not just for us, but also our furry friends. This Saturday, Paws For You, a nonprofit organization, has hosted their annual Halloween party.
I volunteered.
Well, we just adopted Hazel about a week and a half ago from Paws For You.
Oh, look at that. That is awesome.
Doing this event for 13 years, and we're very grateful for the partnership that we have with Pinecrest Gardens. We keep growing it every year. This year we had our most vendors ever. I think we were at 27 vendors total. We have a doggy fun zone, we do a costume contest, and we've had up to 2,000 people in the past and 600 dogs, including a pig. I don't know what we had this year. But we're very grateful because it's a community event, and all the proceeds go back in to help the dogs that we support at our rescue.
My girlfriend is the one that found out about it. She just told me. We brought all the Frenchies, and we entered Princess in the contest, and she got third place.
The Halloween party has a pumpkin patch, dog fun zone, and more possum activities for the whole family. In Pinecrest, for Caplin News, I'm Daniela Thoki.
Over the weekend, Miami got a scoop of the latest innovations from top electric vehicle brands such as BMW, Porsche, and more at the Electrify Expo. Reporter Samantha Gutierrez was at the Miami-Dade Fairgrounds.
E-cars, e-trucks, and e-bikes are just some of the gadgets e-curious customers got to test drive and learn about at this year's Electrify event. Electrify Expo had something for everyone, as they made their 6th stop in Miami over the weekend, offering 2 full days of electrifying fun. The expo was created by B.J. Birtwell as a multi-city festival, and over the weekend, the world's top electric brands were on display, featuring electric vehicles, or EVs, big and small.
It's Electrify Expo. Everyone is already super interested in being a part of EVs, and it kind of has a little bit of background knowledge on EVs in general.
Mackenzie McCabe was representing Rivet in their electric motorcycle exhibit and demo area, educating visitors.
When I was standing at the demo booth for Rivet yesterday, we saw just like the Ford going the thrill experience, just like drifting around the corners all day, which was kind of crazy, so that was really cool.
One of the more thrilling experiences had to be the hot lap on the Mustang Mach-E GT. Here, visitors like Eddie Ramos drifted through the course with Ford.
By the time you realize you're back in the line and you want to do it again.
The founder's goal was to entertain and educate cities with first-hand experiences. After visiting this year's Electrify Expo for the first time, Eddie says he cannot miss it coming forward.
If they come back, I come back.
Their next and last stop is in Austin, Texas, November 10th through 12th. And for more information about this electric fun, visit electrifyexpo.com. Reporting for Caplin News, I'm Samantha Gutierrez.
The Dolphins were behind by 14 points early on. Then they remembered that they have the #1 offense in the NFL.
That's still ahead, and so is the story.
I'm sure a ton of learning experience, but a great challenge and opportunity.
Is counting down the days until the debut of the area's new professional rugby team. Newsbreak will be back in just 2 minutes.
Radcliffe Art and Design Incubator is the velocity accompanying the fellow's rudder, as in a boat. Unless there is movement or action, the planned direction is of little consequence. We encourage the creative ideas into action, and from the experience of doing, we critically assess the feedback, adjust, and set out to rediscover the potentialities of an entrepreneurial mindset.
STEM is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
Another expansion team is arriving to the 305. After football, basketball, baseball, hockey, and soccer, South Florida is ready to move into professional rugby. On Sunday, the Miami Sharks held an event at St. Thomas University to further their outreach to the South Florida community.
Caplin's Tanya Jimenez was there and has more about the rugby team.
2024 will welcome Florida's first ever professional rugby team, the Miami Sharks. This weekend, the team held an event to introduce themselves to South Florida with activities for kids, vendors, and rugby tryouts.
In a landmark deal with the Florida Blue Training Center, home of the MLS team, Inter Miami, the Miami Sharks Rugby Club becomes the first outside of the soccer club to use the state-of-the-art training center daily. The agreement we have is that we will train and play as the home team there. Inter Miami is betting on the growth of the local sport, and Miami is a center for sports. And we are very thankful that they made this agreement with us.
It just continues to expand rugby. I mean, Miami's got an incredible rugby representation, and so we found that in our couple years in rugby, we've been involved a lot down here, traveled down here to take part in it, and so I'm excited.
Miami is a dynamic market for sports, and this unique collaboration brings a new face to South Florida sports, coming together at a special time for Miami fans. This experience in Miami, starting a new project in South Florida, and everything that may bring. I'm sure a ton of learning experience, but a great challenge and opportunity.
I'm actually very, very excited. So I coach youth and women as well in my spare time, and I'm very, very excited to actually see like the growth and the potential that rugby does have. I'm very excited to see these football players realizing that rugby is also a great sport, and then coming across and be able to join in the fun that we have, and we get to enjoy with each other, and with it's a family community at the end of the day. So it's definitely worth it.
The AutoNation Sports Field will officially become the Miami Sharks' home field starting January 2024. With the world's eyes on Miami sports, it only makes sense to bring rugby to the 305. For Caplin News, I'm Tanya Jimenez.
This morning, the Dolphins climbed from behind to beat the still winless Carolina Panthers. The Finns faced some unexpected adversity early on, going down 14-0 in the first. However, a touchdown from running back Raheem Mostert towards the start of the second broke the ice, and they were off to the races. The Finns scored 28 unanswered between the second and third quarters and ended up doubling the Panthers' final score, which was Panthers 21, Dolphins 42. The Dolphins' run of steady competition comes to an end this Sunday as they are set to face the Philadelphia Eagles on the road to what is sure to be a thriller.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Valentina Gaspari.
And I'm Anthony Cruz. Get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.